JT Show.
What's going on, you sexy beasts, and welcome to another episode of the Smash JT Show, my weekly episodic adventure talking about divisive issues in the video game industry and sometimes beyond. If you're not familiar with the channel, this airs every Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and without further ado, let's just jump right into it. First off, we have to talk about the biggest story to hit video gaming and YouTube this week, and that is Philip Mewson, former editor for IGN. Well, I say former because he's since been terminated after being found out of plagiarizing Boomstick Gaming's review of Dead Cells. And I did cover this on an individual video already, talking about the intricacies of what happened and why he probably was going to be terminated. Well, it turns out he was terminated. But my question for you guys is this. Do you feel like IGN, who I do believe made the right call in getting rid of this guy immediately after finding out he plagiarized Boomstick Gaming, do you feel like they should offer Boomstick Gaming a position as an editor and reviewer at IGN to take Philip's place? Or do you feel like IGN should go the direction, the more traditional route of HR and hiring people based off of resumes and offering the position and seeing who they find? I think it would be a great public relations move to offer a position to Boomstick Gaming or another small YouTuber similar to him, because I know tons of small YouTubers out there that would jump at the opportunity to work at IGN. It is an amazing company when you get down to it. And yeah, I know it's fun to crap on them, but honestly, don't tell me you guys wouldn't want the opportunity to work there if you worked in video games. But let me know what you think about that one. Next up, another pretty big story hit the news this week, and that is MU Paradise no longer offering ROMs. The site itself has been going on for well over a decade. From as far back as I can remember, as a gamer, MU Paradise was around providing ROMs from tons of games of our childhood. And then randomly, last week, they shut down and put a letter up in its place saying that because there's so many pressures coming from external sites and sources, that they have to crack under the pressure and remove all the ROMs. Doesn't necessarily mean that MU Paradise is completely going away, but they are shifting directions, and to be honest, people went to MU Paradise to get their ROMs, and if the ROMs aren't going to be there anymore, I can't really imagine a reason why people would want to go there if they're not there. But it brings up a bigger question for the video game industry at large, and that is this an issue for the preservation of historical games and titles? Games that you don't have the ability to get a hold of anymore because they've deteriorated, and maybe not so much right now, but I'm thinking more 10, 20, 30 years in the future and beyond that. How are we going to be able to preserve these games, these classic Atari games, Nintendo games, Genesis games, CD-based games that have been proven to be destroyed just from disc rotting? There are so many reasons why these old games will stop working, and these emulation sites that allow people to preserve what they own already, going the way of the dodo because of legal pressures and socioeconomic issues, they are destroying the ability to preserve these old games, and I have some serious concerns about the longevity of them because of all these big suit lawyers getting in the way of where emulation should be. I feel like we need stricter laws on how emulation works, but actually allow sites to individually host them and maybe give purchases and selling them, if that's required from the publisher, give them percentages of the sales. If the publisher themselves is not going to provide a place to get these games, there needs to be a location for people to go to be able to back up copies of games they already own that may be destroyed because of rotting and maybe because they just don't work anymore because of old age. There needs to be a place to go and get them, I guess is what I'm saying. But I'd love to hear where you stand on this issue. Are you okay with emulation sites going away because you feel like they're stealing from the original publishers? Or do you feel like this is a bad precedent to be set by Nintendo and possibly other companies getting in together to shut down these major ROM sites that were providing these ROMs for free to people that were looking to find them? No matter what happens, I think we all know from the past that there'll always be places to find these ROMs somewhere on the internet, but they're not necessarily trusted sites like MU Paradise was, and that's a big concern for me. Next up, we have the EVO 2018 Smash Bros. 4 finales from the Wii U, and how there were a lot of boos because a lot of the competitors were using Bayonetta as their main, and this is something that goes back. It's not the first time that people have had issues with Bayonetta. It goes back to the beginning of 2018, and even before, when Bayonetta was found to have linking combos to give her somewhat of an advantage in the fighting game scene. If you knew how to link her combos properly, it would give you a distinct advantage over other players that weren't able to do the same type of thing. But the main question that I have for you guys with this whole Bayonetta issue, which you may or may not be familiar with, but that doesn't really matter. The question I have is it okay for a fighting community to get together and say, this character in specific, in this case Bayonetta, also Cloud Strife has had the same combo linking problems that people have complained about. Is it okay to say, you can't use these characters when we're fighting in tournaments because they're cheap? Or is it one of the situations where, because the character is part of the game, it's like, you can use whoever you want. They're an official part of the game, and if they're beating you, get good. I've always taken the standpoint of, if the character's in the game, you should be allowed to play whoever you want. And when it comes to competitive gameplay, if the game is broken and one character has all these abilities that other people don't have, either get good or use that other character. But I can definitely see where people are coming from on the other side of this, where they got good with one specific character and they played with that character, trained with them their entire life, and another character is found, or in this case, downloadable, or sometimes they might add a character to the game that is broken, and they're able to do combos that you're not able to do, and that's not very fair. So I definitely see the other side of this, but again, they're a part of the game, and I always feel like as long as it's an official part of the game, and there's some balancing done by the publisher, in this case, Nintendo has nerfed Bayonetta a couple times, and she still has distinct advantages even with the nerfing that Nintendo has done. So I'd be interested to hear from you guys on that one and where you stand. Is it okay for people to complain about Bayonetta in the Smash Bros. Tournament? Or should they get good and not argue about the character that's officially a part of it? And speaking of Smash, we just had a new Smash Bros. Direct from Nintendo where they updated 4 new characters. They all look incredibly amazing. Simon Belmont, someone who people have wanted forever. Since the original Smash Bros. Was created, people have been clamoring for Simon Belmont, and here he finally is. That is extremely exciting for someone who thought Konami had just let the series die. Here he is coming back. It's not a new Castlevania game, but at least Nintendo is carrying Castlevania's name on forward with Simon Belmont in the new Smash Brothers. And in addition to him, they're also bringing Richter in, and King K. Rool, and Dark Samus. And Samus is my main character in Smash Brothers, so in a weird way, I don't know how to feel about a new Samus coming in. I mean, I'm excited because I love Samus, but at the same time, I'm going to be confused as to which one to pick. At least it gives me a little bit of diversity, because for some reason people always want you to be switching characters in Smash Brothers, and I've never liked doing that. I've always just got good with Samus and played as Samus the entire time. People got mad because I'd win all the time with Samus. That's who I'm good with. I can't really play Smash Brothers with other characters. But regardless, exciting stuff from the new Smash Brothers game. Be interested to hear from you guys on, are you excited about all these new characters and everything they've involved with the new Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is really turning out to be the Ultimate Smash Brothers? My question for you is kind of threefold. There's so many things to discuss with this new Smash Brothers game. It is gigantic. Are you okay with all these reveals of characters coming out now, or do you wish that Nintendo would hold this stuff back and let you discover it on your own while you're playing the game? That's the first question. Secondly, do you feel like this Smash Brothers game is gonna have too much stuff in it? Over 100 stages, tons of music, incredible variety of characters. Is there a point where it gets to be too much? Do you wish that it was almost scaled back and more manageable so you could understand the game and understand what to expect from a match? Because I feel like with everything that's going to be involved in this new Smash Brothers game, it's going to be intimidating for newcomers to the series, because there's just going to be so much involved with it. It's a lot of fan service. It's what people have been clamoring for. Does that make it a good thing though? And finally, my third question with the Smash Brothers game is, where does the series go from here? can they even make a sequel to this? I feel like everything everyone has ever wanted to ever be involved in a Smash Brothers game is either included in this game or probably will be down the road with DLC. But how do you feel about the future of Smash Brothers? Is this the last Smash Brothers that we'll ever see in our lifetime? Will Nintendo just port this game to whatever future consoles they have? I'm kind of okay with that if that's what they do. If it's the most perfect Smash Brothers game ever, why do they need to keep making sequels to it? But making sequels to games you don't need to make sequels to, that's another topic for another day. And for this week's smashing video of the week, Take-Two Rockstar has provided us with 6 minutes of gorgeous Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay footage. And if you haven't seen this video yet, strongly advise checking it out. It goes through showing you the towns, the graphics, the environments, hints of the storyline, interacting with the townspeople, different kind of things you can do in the game, and what to expect out of it.
Rockstar Games aims to create a living world that's not simply open, but deeper.
Come on, pretty boy.
More interactive and detailed than ever.
And finally, Sony has announced they are releasing a gorgeous translucent PS4 Pro 2TB. Thing looks incredible. To commemorate 500 million PlayStation consoles sold over the past 2 decades. 500 million consoles. Just, that is a staggering amount of anything. That's halfway to a billion. 500 million PlayStation consoles have been sold. This is a landmark console for a landmark event, and I am sold on it 100%. As far as availability, it will have 50,000 individually numbered bronze plates on the fronts, including a controller, one headphone, and a camera. And you'll be able to purchase separately a gold wireless headset that matches the style of the console individually, if you so well choose. But here's the question I have for you guys on this one. This, on top of the amazing Spider-Man PlayStation 4 that they announced, thing looks incredible. I saw it in person at San Diego Comic-Con 2018. How do you feel about unique individual consoles? Are you sold on it? Are you not? I know this goes back all the way to Nintendo 64 and maybe even beyond that, where they had different types of consoles like the Pokemon or the Toys R Us exclusive gold or the translucent atomic colors. There were tons of different N64s, Game Boy Colors. From what I recall, those were the ones that stand out in my mind, and now it looks like the PlayStation 4 is going that direction. Do you guys like this, or do you wish that it was more just, here's the console, everyone has the same one, or do you like to stylize it and have a unique one? Me personally, I am all for these new unique consoles, but my wallet is not very happy to hear about it. And that's where I'm going to end this week's episode. First off, thank you so much to all the Patreons I'm listing right here. You guys make such a huge difference contributing to the success of this channel. If you're interested in joining them, hit that Patreon link below me. You can donate as little as $1 per month. Every little bit helps. If you're still not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. And if you missed last week's episode, I'm going to put it right there. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and you stay sexy.